Hey there, adventurers! Welcome back to our channel, where we embark on journeys to uncover the hidden truths of our world. We're glad you're joining us today as we delve into a topic that's both fascinating and alarming. But before we get started, we'd love it if you could hit that like button, subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. Your support helps us continue to bring you these deep dives into the less traveled paths of our world. Remember, every like, every subscribe, and every share brings us one step closer to making a difference. Today we're journeying to South America, a place known for its vibrant cultures and breathtaking landscapes. But beneath the surface, there's a story that's often left untold. We're peeling back the layers and inviting you to join us as we uncover the hidden impact of an industry thriving in the shadows. Buckle up and brace yourselves. This journey may not be what you're expecting. Let's get started. What if the dream vacation for some becomes a nightmare for others? Let's delve into a reality that's often swept under the rug. A hidden world that exists in the vibrant and culturally rich landscapes of South America. We're talking about sex tourism, a thriving industry that operates in the shadows, with an impact far more profound and devastating than what meets the eye. In the heart of South America, countries like Brazil, Colombia, and the Dominican Republic have become hotspots for this clandestine industry. Tourists, predominantly males from affluent countries, flock to these places in search of illicit pleasures, oblivious or indifferent to the ripple effects of their actions. Yet the impact on the local population is both immediate and enduring. Young women and children, often from impoverished backgrounds, are drawn into a life of exploitation, devoid of dignity and dreams. Stripped of their innocence and forced into the flesh trade, they bear the brunt of a demand fueled by foreign tourists. The repercussions extend beyond the immediate victims. Families are torn apart, communities are destabilized, and the social fabric of these countries is irrevocably damaged. The economic disparity between the tourists and the locals, coupled with the lack of effective law enforcement, creates a vicious cycle of exploitation that seems almost impossible to break, and yet the world turns a blind eye. The glitz and glamour of tourism often overshadow this grim reality. The smiling faces of locals seen in travel brochures mask a harsh truth. The allure of foreign currency flowing into the economy often makes authorities look the other way, further perpetuating this cycle. Sex tourism, a thriving industry yet a dark underbelly of South America. Its impact is far-reaching, affecting not just the immediate victims, but the very essence of the societies it infiltrates. An issue that's not confined to the borders of these countries but a global epidemic, demanding a collective response. As we peel back the layers of this issue, remember that what if the dream vacation for some becomes a nightmare for others? Is not just a hypothetical question, but a harrowing reality for many. Sex tourism, a thriving industry, yet a dark underbelly of South America. Behind every statistic is a story waiting to be told. Let's delve into the heart of the matter, the human cost of sex tourism. We've taken the time to listen to the victims, their voices echoing the harsh truth hidden behind the industry. It's important to note that their names have been changed to ensure their safety. First, we meet Maria from Colombia. She was barely a teenager when she was swept into this world. Her story is a stark reminder of the innocence lost too early, dreams shattered before they could even take form. Maria's narration speaks of the harsh realities she faced. The fear, the despair, the silent screams that went unheard. Next, we hear from Alejandro, a young man from Brazil. He was forced into this life to keep his family afloat. His tale is a testament to the desperation that drives many into this industry. Alejandro's voice carries the weight of a forced maturity, of a childhood spent in the shadows of a world he was too young to understand. Then there's Rosa from Peru, a mother coerced into this life to feed her children. Rosa's story is a chilling illustration of the sacrifices made in the name of survival. Her voice resonates with a strength and resilience that is at once heartbreaking and inspiring. These narratives are not isolated incidents but are representative of countless others who fall victim to sex tourism. Their voices, though often silenced, carry stories of lost innocence, forced resilience, and the fight for survival. It's a harsh reality that many choose to overlook. A truth that's conveniently hidden behind the glitz and glamour often associated with tourism. But these stories, these voices, they demand our attention, our empathy, our action. They remind us that behind the statistics and the headlines are real people with real lives, forever altered by an industry built on exploitation. These are the unheard voices, the hidden victims of sex tourism. Who fuels this destructive industry? The answer lies in the diverse demographic of the tourists involved in sex tourism. A vast array of individuals from different walks of life contribute to this troubling practice. The common thread? They all travel to South America with a singular, disturbing intent. Diving deeper into the demographic, we find that the perpetrators are not confined to a particular age group, social status, or nationality. They range from young adults seeking thrill and adventure to older individuals looking for a break from their mundane lives. The socio-economic background of these individuals varies as well, from blue-collar workers saving up for these trips, to affluent businessmen who see this as just another leisure activity. Now let's delve into their motivations. Some justify their actions by citing the economic boost they provide to the local communities. They argue that their business aids in the sustenance of many families. Others claim to be victims of their own unfulfilled desires and loneliness, seeking solace in the arms of the marginalized. In an attempt to further understand their mindset, we've conducted anonymous interviews with some of these perpetrators. A common theme that emerges from these interactions is a sense of entitlement and a lack of empathy towards the victims. They view their actions as a transaction, devoid of any moral implications. They fail to recognize the suffering and exploitation that their vacation necessitates. Let's not forget, these are people who have families, friends, and jobs back home. They lead seemingly normal lives in their own communities, yet they become agents of harm when they step onto foreign soil, exploiting the vulnerabilities of the less fortunate. The uncomfortable truth is that these tourists, with their twisted justifications and motivations, fuel an industry that thrives on the suffering and degradation of its victims. They are the demand that drives this supply. They are the reason why this form of tourism continues to exist and flourish. An industry thrives when there's demand. The question is, at what cost? Who turns a blind eye to this horror? As we delve deeper into the dark underbelly of sex tourism in South America, we encounter an uncomfortable truth. There are those who enable these heinous acts. Local authorities, corrupt officials, and even the local population, either due to economic desperation or sheer indifference, play a role in maintaining the status quo. Let's start with the local authorities. In an ideal world, their role would be to protect and serve their communities. Unfortunately, in some regions, their role is far from this ideal. They are often underfunded, under-resourced, and sometimes under the influence of powerful individuals who have a vested interest in preserving this illicit trade. This lack of support and corruption creates a vacuum of responsibility, allowing these crimes to go unchecked. Then, we have the corrupt officials. They are the gatekeepers, the ones who could put a stop to this, if they so choose. However, the allure of easy money often proves too much. They accept bribes, turn a blind eye, and in some cases, actively participate in the trafficking. Their actions, or lack thereof, give these criminals the freedom to operate with impunity. Finally, we come to the local population. It's easy to judge from afar, but the reality on the ground is often far more complex. Economic desperation can blur the line between right and wrong. For some, it's a choice between feeding their families or standing up against this horror. Others, perhaps numbed by the sheer scale of the problem, choose indifference over action. The enablers are part of a vicious cycle of exploitation and abuse. Each cog in this machine of horror plays its part, perpetuating a system that victimizes the vulnerable and rewards the vile. In a world that often chooses to look the other way, who will stand up for the victims? It's a question we must ask ourselves as we continue to explore the true impact of sex tourism in South America. Where there's darkness, there's also light. In the midst of this grim reality, there are those who are steadfastly fighting back against the scourge of sex tourism. Non-governmental organizations, activists, and even some local authorities are stepping up to the plate, refusing to be silent bystanders. They are the torchbearers, illuminating the path to a better future. These organizations and individuals are standing up, speaking out, and demanding change. They are raising awareness about the harsh realities of sex tourism, educating the public, and creating safe spaces for dialogue and understanding. They are stripping away the layers of secrecy and shame that often shroud this issue, bringing it into the light where it can be addressed. And they are not just talking, they are taking action. They provide vital support to the victims of sex tourism, offering them shelter, counseling, and opportunities for education and employment. They are helping these individuals reclaim their lives, their dignity, and their hope for the future. But they are not stopping there. They are pushing for stricter laws and stricter enforcement of those laws. They are advocating for harsher penalties for perpetrators and for greater protection and support for victims. They are challenging the system, demanding that it do better, that it be better. These efforts are not in vain. Every day they are making a difference. Every day they are saving lives. Every day they are chipping away at the wall of silence and indifference that allows sex tourism to thrive. Yes, the fight against sex tourism is a daunting one. It's a fight against deeply ingrained societal attitudes, against powerful economic interests, against a system that too often turns a blind eye to the suffering of the most vulnerable. But it's a fight that must be fought. And it's a fight that can be won. The fight is long and hard, but every small victory is a step towards change. What can the world do to curb this menace? As we delve deeper into the dark underbelly of sex tourism in South America, it's clear that the issue isn't one that can be solved by local governments or NGOs alone. It's a global problem, demanding global solutions. International governments have a crucial role to play in this. They need to enforce stricter laws against sex tourism and work together to ensure these laws are upheld across borders. It's not enough to outlaw the act in one country if the offenders can simply move to another. A united front is required, but it's not just about governments. Tourism companies and individual tourists also have a part to play. They need to promote and practice responsible tourism. Let's be clear, responsible tourism is not just about minimizing our carbon footprint or respecting local customs. It's also about ensuring that our travels do not contribute to the exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Tourism companies should be more vigilant. They should conduct thorough background checks and have strict policies against engaging in or facilitating sex tourism. They should also educate their clients about the harsh realities and the human cost of this illicit trade. Individual tourists, on the other hand, need to be more conscientious. They need to understand that their actions have consequences, and these can be far-reaching. They must refuse to participate in or support any form of sex tourism. Instead, they should promote ethical tourism practices that benefit local communities and respect human rights. International cooperation is key. Governments, tourism companies, and tourists themselves need to work together to combat this issue. We need to pool our resources, share information, and coordinate efforts to effectively address this problem. Let's remember, fighting sex tourism is not just about saving victims or punishing perpetrators. It's about creating a world where everyone can travel freely and safely, without fear of exploitation. When we travel, we carry not just our luggage but also our ethics. Change is a journey, not a destination. A poignant phrase, yet one that encapsulates our collective responsibility in addressing the issue of sex tourism in South America. It's a pervasive problem, a silent epidemic, but it's not insurmountable. The path forward, while challenging, is clear. Spreading awareness is the first step. In this era of information, ignorance is no longer an excuse. Use your voice, your platform, to shed light on the dark corners of sex tourism. Talk about it, write about it, share about it. Silence only serves to protect the perpetrators, while victims continue to suffer in obscurity. Next, lend your support to non-governmental organizations working tirelessly on the ground. These organizations are the first line of defense, providing aid, counseling, and rehabilitation to victims. They are also instrumental in facilitating legal action against offenders. Your donation, however small, can make a real difference in their operations and, by extension, in the lives of those they help. But perhaps the most impactful action you can take is to pressure your governments. Laws need to be enforced, policies need to be reviewed, and international cooperation needs to be strengthened. Governments hold the key to systemic change. Write to your representatives, participate in peaceful protests, vote for leaders who prioritize human rights. Make it clear that you, as a citizen, will not stand by while such atrocities continue. Remember, the impact of sex tourism on South American societies is long-term. It's not just about the immediate victims. It's about the social fabric, the future generations, the legacy we leave behind. If left unaddressed, this issue will continue to fester, leaving indelible scars on the face of these vibrant cultures. But it's not all doom and gloom. Progress is being made, albeit slowly. With our collective efforts, we can accelerate this progress. We can make the journey towards change faster, smoother, more effective. Together, we can turn the tide against sex tourism. The time to act is now. In the end, it's about humanity. We've journeyed through the hidden impact, heard the victims' voices, met the perpetrators and the enablers, and witnessed the fight back. We've discussed the global responsibility we all share in this issue, and now we're left contemplating our way forward. Sex tourism in South America is not just about numbers and statistics. It's about real people, real lives, and real pain. Each story we've shared today is a testament to the human cost of this industry. From the victims to the perpetrators, each person is a part of a larger narrative that we can no longer ignore. Our collective responsibility extends beyond awareness. It's about taking action, making informed choices, and demanding change. It's about ensuring that every person, regardless of where they come from, is treated with dignity and respect. The world is watching. What will we choose to see?